Hello everybody, and welcome back. I'm Justin Kennington with SDVoE. Today I'm joined by Art Weeks, Director of Product Management for ZeeVee. Art, thanks for joining us.
Great, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So, one of the things I wanted to talk about with you, I'm excited, as we fire up our upcoming plans for InfoComm 2022. We're bringing back the SDVoE live stage, and we'll be featuring as many of our members as I can, but certainly you up front. What do you want to tell people about? You have a course that you wanted to teach there. What are we going to talk about?
Well, I've got this course that I run on a regular basis that we're going to give you a slightly modified version for the show for time constraints, but it goes into the real in-depth details of multi-view and video walls in an SDVoE environment. You know, it gets into the real nitty-gritty, talking about bandwidth and streams, and just how it works, and how a customer can take this functionality and really customize their own unique multi-view for really doing almost anything that they want.
I think it's easy for people to think of SDVoE as an AV over IP video transport only, and to ignore the really powerful processing features that are built in. But when I talk to you and others at ZeeVee, I think a lot of your strength in the product is in leveraging those features. So talk about how you succeed when you show people the multi-view, the video wall, the extra features.
So the key word that I like to use when I'm describing these functionalities, whether it be multi-view or video wall, or multi-view to a video wall for that matter, is flexibility. The entire system is just so incredibly flexible. You know, one of the great benefits, that we have is, it's a transmitter/receiver based system, and every display has its own unique receiver, which means it can do anything at any time. So when you've got a multi-view up there, if you've got a video wall up there, a 2x2 or a 3x3, whatever the case may be, you're not locked into that configuration all the time. You want to change this one display in the top corner to be doing something different from the rest of your wall, you can do that, and the rest of the wall is just going to continue to run the way that it's supposed to do. And that's not the case in some of these other solutions where they're fitting in one, source to a wall, let's say, and then it gets daisy chained to all the, all the other displays. Right. So, it's a great advantage with that, the SDVoE solution.
If I want that multi-view capability in a traditional architecture, I need a multi-view processor for every single display that I've got. This becomes, I think, a very expensive.
Right. So we have a multi-view processor in every single display by default.
Right.
It's what you get.
Well, I'm so happy that you mentioned the word flexibility, right? Because here at ISE, we're debuting a new messaging for SDVoE that is sustainable, flexible, and available. So we've touched on flexible. Nice job. Let's talk about sustainability. You've transitioned your product line to start utilizing the SDVoE ASIC. Tell me about that. Why do you transition to that part? What does that help?
Right, so yes, we've introduced a little while back now the ZyPer4K XS, and more recently, just debuting at the show really, is our ZyPer4K XR. Both are the ASIC-based solution, and there's a lot of reasons to be going to the ASIC-based solution. And one you talked about, there is availability. The traditional SDVoE solution has been FPGA-based, and with the recent kind of upheaval in the world, those have been a little hard to come by, whereas this ASIC-based solution is much more readily available, not to mention less expensive, than the traditional FPGA solution. So we really love this. It is completely backwards compatible as well. So we've got many customers that are deploying both our XS product and our classic product, in that environment. And so, some examples of why they might be doing that are, with our XS product, it's HDMI for all the inputs. Well, on the classic product, we offer SDI input, we offer display port, we offer analog. So if customers happen to need one of those other solutions for whatever their source is, they can just easily add that in, and it works, in conjunction with the XS product.
Yeah, that interoperability is really important to talk about. As we're talking about a transition from one chipset to another, there's no interruption in interoperability at all. Still, every SDVoE product works with every other. Talk about the power consumption of the ASIC. How different is that compared to your first generation?
And that's actually a huge talking point for ZeeVee right now, and SDVoE in comparison to some other solutions that are out there. You know, the XS product that we're shipping right now only uses between 8 and 9 watts of total power.
Right.
Which, when you compare that to the FPGA, it's, you know, roughly in the neighborhood of half of, you know, what our other solutions were. And it's, you know, roughly a third to even a quarter of some of our competing solutions that we're out there against.
I'll just say it, right? When Crestron launched NVX, it was like 40 watts per device, and I think they've now squeezed it down to 27.
Yeah, they're in
and you're talking about 9.
Yeah, they're in the mid-20s right now, and we're, you know, around 8 to 9 watts. And a lot of our customers, especially the European customers, not so much in the U.S. yet, you know, this is a big deal for them.
Yeah.
You know, they're very eco-conscious. You know, they want to know how much power it's using. They want to know the long-term, you know, cost, you know, of using these products. And when you do a little bit of math, you know, typically these type of products, honestly, they almost never get shut off. You know, they're running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just sucking that power.
Yeah.
And, you know, over the course of 5 years, you know, it's hundreds of kilowatts, you know, in a typical deployment, and, you know, however much money is associated with that.
Sure, that also means lower power consumption means less heat. It means you probably don't need a fan, which means it's a more reliable product. You have to replace less often. You know, I think there are some people in the world, some markets that care very deeply about sustainability, about the impact to the planet and the environment, and there are others that frankly don't care that much, but they're still going to benefit from this consumes less power, this lowers my electricity bill, this increases my product reliability. You know, if you can choose things that are good for you and good for the broader world, it's, you know, it's sort of a no-brainer at that point.
Yeah. So one of the other features, you know, of the new XS product as well is the PoE capability. Okay. Customers love PoE.
Yeah.
You know, it just, for the integrators, it simplifies their life tremendously, not having to worry about, you know, do I need an extra power point? Where am I going to hide this power brick?
Right.
You know, what am I going to do? They just plug it into that 10 gig PoE switch and run it, and, you know, perfect. You know, and, you know, I mentioned, you know, customers mixing and matching within our product line. You know, we recently did a deployment at a sports book / casino, and they create all of their decoders went with the XS, so they could just do PoE. Then all the encoders were just in a rack anyway. Power was readily available. They went with the standard classic product.
Okay. Yeah, it's that interoperability makes it easy for the designer. Let's talk about availability in general. How well prepared has ZeeVee been for our supply constrained world? How are you doing with orders and deliveries these days?
Within the ZyPer4K family, the XS product is really generally available. You know, we're quoting out to customers, you know, 2 to 4 weeks delivery, which, you know, customers really can't even believe that number sometimes, because you know, they're hearing, you know, considerably larger numbers from our competitors. You know, one of the things that's, you know, I do on a daily basis now, literally on a daily basis, is flip NVX designs.
Wow.
Customers, integrators are coming to us and say, here's our NVX design, this needs to be installed in, you know, in 6 weeks. We cannot get the product from Crestron, even though we ordered it 6 months ago. Can you help us out? So I'll go through their schematic.
Yes, we can.
I can flip that for you, no problem. You know, give me half an hour.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, that's wonderful. That's everything I wanted to talk about. We covered them all: sustainability, flexibility, availability. ZeeVee's right there with SDVoE pushing ahead. Is there anything else we should cover?
No, just I say, you know, have a great show this week, and obviously I'm looking forward to the upcoming show in Vegas in, what, 4 or 5 weeks' time?
29 days from today, but who's counting?
Oh, jeepers, who's counting, right.
Well, thanks for joining us, Art.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
All right, thank you.